Dear students, welcome back to English B Honeysuckle. Today we will be continuing with the remaining part of the chapter Who Did Patrick's Homework. Before we get on with it, here are a few pointers about what will be discussed in today's class. First, we will recapitulate a few points from the previous class. Next, we will be doing a brief readout followed by detailed explanation and discussion of new words along with a summary in the end. Secondly, we will be answering the questions in the exercise in your book. Lastly, I'll be providing a few model questions to be answered by you all on your understanding of the story. So, let's begin. Patrick did not do his homework because he did not find it interesting. One day he found his cat playing with a doll, but on a closer look, he discovered that it was not a doll at all. It was a very small man. Patrick wanted to free the little man on the condition that he would do Patrick's homework. The little man did not like the condition, but he agreed. While doing Patrick's homework, the little man needed Patrick's help as he did not know all the subjects. Now the reading of the remaining part of the story. As a matter of fact, every day in every way, that little elf was a nag. Patrick was working harder than ever and was it a drag. He was staying up nights, had never felt so weary, was going to school with his eyes puffed and bleary. Finally, the last day of school arrived, and the elf was free to go. As for homework, there was no more. So he quietly and slyly slipped out the back door. Patrick got his A's. His classmates were amazed. His teachers smiled and were full of praise. And his parents, they wondered what had happened to Patrick. He was now the model kid, cleaned his room, did his chores, was cheerful, never rude, like he had developed a whole new attitude. You see, in the end, Patrick still thought he had made that tiny man do all his homework. But I will share a secret just between you and me. It wasn't the elf. Patrick had done it himself. Now, line by line explanations. As a matter of fact, that is actually, every day in every way, that little elf was a nag. What is a nag? One who troubles you. So here, the elf was a nag to Patrick. But how? Actually, the little creature was all the time asking Patrick to do something or other. So that is how he proved to be a trouble to Patrick. And Patrick was working harder than ever, and was it a drag? Is a drag? Means something dull and uninteresting. So Patrick was working harder than ever. He found it uninteresting. He was staying up nights, meaning he had to keep awake the nights. He never felt so tired. and was going to school with his eyes puffed and bleary. He was going to school with a weary look. He was going to school with his dull-looking eyes. Finally, the last day of school arrived, and the elf was free to go. As for homework, there was no more, so he quietly and slyly slipped out the back door. Finally, it was the last day of school. The elf had no homework to do. So, he had complete freedom to go. So, what did the elf do? The elf moved out from the back door. How? Noiselessly, silently, without making any word, in a very secretive manner. Patrick got his A's. That is, Patrick got grade A. His classmates were amazed. Why? Because who always neglected his homework, he had got grade A. So they were astonished. His teachers smiled and were full of praise. His teachers were all praise for Patrick. And his parents, they wondered what had happened to Patrick. His parents were trying to find out what made their child so perfect. Patrick was now the model kid. He became an exemplary child. He cleaned his room himself. He did his works, daily course himself. He became a happy child. He was never rude. And he developed a complete new self and look. You see, in the end, Patrick still thought he had made that tiny man do all his homework. What did Patrick think? Patrick thought that he had made that little elf do all his homework. But I will share a secret just between you and me. The narrator here tells that others should not know. It will be between you and me. It is quite secret. It was not the elf. Patrick had done it himself. Patrick actually did not know that he was propelled by the elf to do all his works. Now, the summary. Actually, that little supernatural being was troubling Patrick all the time by asking him to do something or other all through the day. Patrick was keeping awake for nights together. He felt so tired as never before. He was going to school with a dull look on his eyes. Finally, the last day of school arrived, and the elf had complete freedom as there was no more homework to do. So very silently and secretively, he moved out from the back door. Patrick surprised his classmates and teachers by securing A grade. His teachers were all praised for him. His parents, they were trying to know what made their rude child so perfect. Patrick became an exemplary child. He cleaned his room, did all his work himself. He became a happy child. In conclusion, I would like to say it was not the elf but the man who did the task was Patrick himself. The little man just impelled him to do everything. Now, I'll give you some model answers for the questions that are given in your exercise. What did Patrick think his cat was playing with? What was it really? Patrick thought his cat was playing with a doll. Actually, it was not a doll. It was a very small man. It was an elf or a supernatural being. Question 2. Why did the little man grant Patrick a wish? He granted him a wish because he saved him from the cat. What was Patrick's wish? Patrick's wish was to get his homework done by the little man. In what subjects did the little man need help to do Patrick's homework? The subjects were maths and history. How did Patrick help him? He helped him by getting books from the library, explaining and reading things. Question 6. Who do you think did Patrick's homework? The little man or Patrick himself? Give reasons for your answer. I think Patrick himself did his homework. The elf was just impelling to do things. It was Patrick who was reading, explaining, arranging different things to help the elf. And this is how Patrick helped himself, by helping the elf. Now some more questions from the story that you try to answer yourself for your better understanding. Now here goes the questions. Question number 1. Patrick's teachers warned him if he neglected his homework, he would not learn anything. How did Patrick himself feel? Question number 2. What was the little man's promise? Why did he make that promise? Question 3. What made Patrick so lucky? Question 4. What made the little man angry and disgusted, and how? Question 5. How did the little man express his disgust? 6. What does the word glitch mean in the context? Question 7. Whose help did the little man need in doing Patrick's homework? Question number 8. To Patrick, the elf was a nag. How? Question 9. When did the elf feel relieved? Question number 10. Why was Patrick's eyes puffed and bleary? This much for today. We will meet again in the next class. Till then, bye.